Class, let's begin this lesson by standing together and say The Little Turtle. Begin. The Little Turtle by Rachel Lindsay. I had a little turtle who lived in a box. He swam in a puddle. He climbed on the rocks. He snapped at a mosquito. He snapped at a flea. He snapped at a minnow and he snapped at me. He caught the mosquito. He caught the flea. He caught the minnow, but he didn't catch me. You may be seated. In a different lesson, we were able to learn that E says as an elephant. E says and I brought something special. Look right this way. Do you see my friend? He's so fun. Watch what he can do. Did you see him? He's so fun. Listen to my poem. Now, I don't know who wrote it, so I'm not going to say who wrote it. Listen, the elephant. The elephant walks like this and like that. He's very tall and he's very fat. He has no fingers, but he does have toes. And goodness gracious, what a nose. Wasn't that fun and exciting? Listen again. The elephant. The elephant walks like this and like that. He's very tall and he's very fat. He has no fingers, but he does have toes. And goodness gracious, what a nose. Did you see how I made my hand like this? I'm just pretending it's a trunk. Try it with me. The elephant walks like this and like that. He's very tall and he's very fat. He has no fingers, but he does have toes. And goodness gracious, what a nose. I think it would be more fun for you to stand. Say it with me. The elephant walks like this and like that. He's very tall and he's very fat. He has no fingers, but he does have toes. And goodness gracious, what a nose. That was fun. Let's try it one more time. Class, be seated. We're going to try that one more time. Class, stand as we say it. Begin. The elephant walks like this and like that. He's very tall and he's very fat. He has no fingers, but he does have toes. And goodness gracious, what a nose. You may be seated. Do you enjoy hearing stories? We get to listen to a special story today. Look there at that picture. I want you to look at that picture as your teacher reads you this fun, exciting story. The title of our story is Henrietta Hen's Elegant Egg. Listen to these words. Consequences. Say consequences. Consequences. That's something that happens because of your actions. Maybe students watching, your on-site teacher has to give you a consequence because you're not doing your best. Oh, work hard, do your best. Maybe your family, when you're at home and you disobey, you have to have consequences. We're going to find out that word in our story. Eldest. Say eldest. Eldest. That means the oldest. Enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. It means excitement. Elegant. Elegant. That's just a big word for fancy. So let's find out, Micah, about Henrietta Hen's elegant egg. Henrietta Hen enjoyed laying eggs in unusual places. Unlike every other hen in the hen house, she was never content to lay 2 eggs in the same nest. Henrietta was even known for laying an egg inside an old straw hat of Johnny Green's that lay upside down upon a high shelf. She enjoyed doing everything her own way and often said that she couldn't be expected to do everything as everyone else wished. She boldly declared, "If I lay eggs for Farmer Green, I will lay the eggs wherever I please," she explained to her neighbors. "If Farmer Green left them for me, perhaps I'd feel differently. But he has his son Johnny collect every egg that he can find. And if he is going to collect my eggs, I'm going to make him hunt for them." Does that sound very kind to you? No, that was not a kind thing. The older, more sensible hens shook their heads when Henrietta would talk like that, and they felt it necessary to help Henrietta Hen understand that there could be unpleasant consequences following that kind of behavior. "Farmer Green is our friend, Henrietta, not an enemy," Edna, the eldest hen, reminded her. "He gives us a warm home and plenty of food. It is only right for us to repay him with our eggs. You really ought not to cause trouble by hiding your eggs. Nothing good will ever come of that." But Henrietta didn't agree. "If my eggs were undersized, I wouldn't mind losing them," she replied. "But I lay the biggest and finest eggs around, so it's only natural that I should enjoy having at least one egg to look at and to show everyone." Now, there were plenty of other hens in the hen house that laid eggs exactly as big or even bigger than Henrietta's. Yet it wouldn't do any good to tell her. She wouldn't believe that there were any eggs in the world to compare with hers. So her neighbors learned after a while that they might as well just let Henrietta Hen take her consequences for herself. Somehow they knew Farmer Green would find a way to straighten her out. Today, Henrietta seemed even more proud. What could Henrietta Hen be so proud about, old Edna wondered. She seems to be thinking more highly of herself than ever. The hens soon discovered the reason for Henrietta's unusually proud manner. She began to visit all of her friends and invite them to come see her newest nest high up in the hayloft. "I've something there to show you," she said mysteriously. "You'll be surprised to see it." It was a good thing that Henrietta Hen hurried home to her guests because she had a good many of them. They came even earlier in the afternoon than expected. That, however, didn't bother Henrietta Hen. "Look, look," she cried when they reached her nest high up in the hayloft. "Did you ever see anything to beat that?" When Henrietta Hen's guests crowded about her nest, they expected to see something wonderful. But when they peered into the little hollowed out spot in the hay, they couldn't help being disappointed. And when the entire group didn't burst forth with cries of enthusiasm, Henrietta Hen looked quite unhappy. "I thought you would want to see this elegant egg," she explained. "I'm sure you never have seen a bigger, whiter, more elegant egg than this." They admitted that the egg was big and that it was very white. And this time, in their enthusiasm, it was small. Henrietta never commented. "Are you going to let Farmer Green have the egg?" one of the hens inquired. "No doubt Johnny Green will collect it as soon as he finds the nest," said Henrietta with something like a sigh. "If only I could keep this one. I wouldn't care how many others he collected." All the hens turned to old Edna, who had also come to the hayloft. "What do you think, Edna?" the hens asked. "Is Henrietta in danger of losing this egg that she thinks so much of?" "She needn't be alarmed," old Edna encouraged. "If Johnny Green collects this one, I'll miss my guess." "Oh, I'm glad to hear you say that," Henrietta Hen cried. "Now I won't need to worry. That is, if you're sure." Now, Edna was the eldest hen in the house, and what she didn't know about the nest and eggs wasn't worth knowing. Old Edna said, "The day will come, Henrietta, when you will agree that my guess is a good one." Still, Henrietta Hen, she felt uneasy. about the big, white, elegant egg. "I do hope Johnny Green won't find this new nest of mine," she remarked. "If he does, I fear he'll take my beautiful egg away from me." "Lay another egg," said old Edna. "Lay another egg and he'll take that egg and leave this one." "I suppose I may as well try your idea," Henrietta replied. "My idea's a good one or I'll miss my guess," said old Edna. The guest bade her good afternoon and returned to their own nest in the hen house. Not long afterward, Henrietta Hen came fluttering down from the hayloft, calling at the top of her lungs for old Edna. And as soon as she found her, Henrietta cried, "Come up to my nest right away. I want to ask your advice." Although she didn't say please, old Edna went with her. Old Edna again used all of her energy to scramble up to the top of the hayloft in Farmer Green's barn. She could scarcely keep up with Henrietta Hen, whom she was following by request. And when she arrived, breathless, at Henrietta's nest, that proud creature turned a troubled face toward her. "See," said Henrietta, "I've taken your advice and laid another egg, but it's nothing like the big, white, elegant egg. This last egg is much smaller, and it's brown." Old Edna nodded her head. "Well," she said, "is that a problem?" "Don't you think," said Henrietta, "that if Johnny Green finds my nest, he'll be sure to collect both eggs?" "No, I don't believe so," was old Edna's encouraging answer. "Then he'll be sure to take the big, white, elegant egg," Henrietta wailed. "No, I don't believe he will," old Edna told her. "If he does, I'll miss my guess." Well, that was really too much for Henrietta Hen to believe. "That boy will never take the little brown egg and leave the big, white, elegant egg," she declared. "You wait and see if he doesn't," old Edna advised her. So Henrietta waited. Though she had little faith in old Edna's advice, Henrietta could think of nothing else to do. And the next morning, to her great surprise, when Johnny Green climbed into the hayloft and found her nest, he took the small brown egg and put it in his hat. And he never touched the big, white, elegant egg at all. He didn't even pick it up and look at it. Perched on a beam overhead, Henrietta Hen held her breath, and as soon as he had gone, she went flopping down to the barn floor, cackling for old Edna. "What is it now?" asked old Edna, sticking her head inside the barn entrance. "Your guess! It was a good one!" cried Henrietta Hen. "He came and he took the small egg." "There," said old Edna. "I knew Johnny Green wouldn't collect that big egg, and if you would keep laying small eggs in that same nest, you would find that he would let you keep the big one." Henrietta Hen fairly beamed at her companion. "How delightful!" she exclaimed. "I've become very fond of that big, elegant egg. I love to look at it. But there's another thing that's starting to worry me now. What if that big egg should get broken?" "Don't let that trouble you," said old Edna. "I'm almost afraid to sit on my nest," Henrietta Hen confessed. "If the shell of that egg should happen to be thin." Old Edna smiled and looked to be sure the two hens were alone, for she did not want to embarrass Henrietta. "It is just not worth making such a fuss over a china egg," Edna whispered. "China egg?" cried Henrietta. "I don't know what you mean. That's not a real egg that you're proud of." Edna replied. "It's Mrs. Green's decorative glass egg," Edna explained. "Farmer Green had Johnny leave it in your nest so you keep that nest and lay eggs in it. You've been so careful not to break that china egg. Why, if you tried to break open the shell, you'd find that it's solid as a rock." Henrietta Hen couldn't believe the news. "I laid that egg myself," she squawked. Henrietta didn't wait to hear anything more, and she scrambled back up to the high nest in the hayloft. One good, hard peck at the big, white, elegant egg told her beyond all doubt that she was wrong. This big, white, elegant egg wasn't Henrietta's egg after all. Now that Henrietta knew it, she wondered how it could ever have deceived her. She saw that it was shiny and altogether unlike any egg she had ever seen anywhere. Well, I'll be, Henrietta Hen cackled from above. I got what I deserved. Old Edna smiled but held back her laughter, and Henrietta agreed that in the end it would be best to stop hiding her eggs and repay the farmer with the kindness he deserved. Are you kind? I hope you are. What kind of trouble was Henrietta causing Farmer Green? What did she do with her eggs? She would do what? Who knows?
Hide it.
You're right. She would hide them, Sky, and she should not have hid her eggs all over that barn. Was the elegant egg really Henrietta's?
No.
No. What was it, Holly? Was it real? No, it was not real. It was decorative. It was a china egg. Why did Johnny Green put the egg in Henrietta's nest?
Because her would think that was her can keep it because hers a really good hen.
Oh, well, she was a good hen. I think he put it there to help her lay all of her eggs in the same nest. It was to help her, to teach her a lesson about doing what she's supposed to do. The Bible says you reap what you sow. She got what she deserved. Was it great? No, but she learned a lesson from it, didn't she? She learned that she would lay her eggs in the same place every time. We can learn much from this story.